Everybody, and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United 1, Inter Milan 0 over in Singapore. Mason Greenwood with an absolutely superb goal. And look, I'm not going to be sensationalist about this. Anybody who knows anything about Manchester United and the path that Mason Greenwood's been on for the last few years as a youth player will know that this lad has got the potential to be world class. It's not, Liverpool fans and Spurs fans and whoever fans will come on and go, look at United fans gassing up this Mason Greenwood like he's going to be the next Rooney or the next Ronaldo. But actually he can be that. And I say it with a total straight face. What he's been doing in youth football is what he did today. It's that composure. It's that, the best bit of skill in the game wasn't the goal. It was the way he just dragged it away from Skriniar and made him look like a little boy. He absolutely murdered him. And then the goal itself, I think Rashford would have just smacked it and tried to score. He wasn't. He was composed and he took it to the left and he curled it in. Wonderful left foot. He is not a player I'm worried about. I said against Cardiff he missed a lot of chances, and against Perth Glory he missed a lot of chances, but everybody was relaxed because they know it's not just about goals. The goals will come with Greenwood. It's the whole package. He's only 17. He was only 17 years old. He's only 17 years old, and he's got the world in front of him. If he can steer clear of injuries, he can keep his feet on the ground and develop, he will be world class. I genuinely say that with straight face. Look, maybe I'm reaching a bit much. He'll definitely be top class. I think he'll be world class. I think he's, just for a 17-year old as well, he's got the body shape. He doesn't look out of place in a first team at that level. He's a fantastic player, and it was a fantastic goal. And a star has been born in many ways. Not for me and not for many of you lot, because you're United fans and you'll know about him. But for the wider world, they'll be like, who's Mason Greenwood then? Oh, maybe he is a good player. And I think that is sort of that. The goal against Leeds, it was a good goal. Pogba made it. Wan-Bissaka put the cross in and it was a tap-in. That goal today had something a little bit more about it. And also, the performance today had more about it. He's up against, I consider Skriniar to be one of the best centre-backs in Europe. And he mugged him off a couple of times. And I thought he really arrived today. And what Ollie's got to do is play him, because he's ready. So just start playing him. What I would say is, though, I wouldn't give him man of the match. Wan-Bissaka was man of the match. Wan-Bissaka was just... Look, I thought we'd bought a good player in Wan-Bissaka. I didn't realise we bought one of the best right-backs in Europe, potentially. He is titanium. I want to sing the song. I am titanium. Don't do that again. But he is. Nothing gets past him. Seriously, I've known good fullbacks. Gary Neville was a good fullback, but you never were 100% sure that they weren't going to get past him. We're bordering on that with Wan-Bissaka. He's almost Maldini-esque. He's nobody's getting past him. There was a player in the second half who had 10 yards on him. He still got back and put a tackle in. He is absolutely superb as a right-back. And the 65 minutes he was on the pitch, he's just impregnable down that right-hand side. He is absolutely superb. He's cheap at 50 million. And I knew he was good, but I didn't realise he was that good. He's fantastic. And look, it's pre-season. I totally agree with that. But a lot of Palace fans were saying this anyway. They said that defensively he's just absolutely brilliant. He's a beast at right back. He is titanium, and he was comfortably my man of the match. So smash a like on the video if Wan-Bissaka was your man of the match. I thought Greenwood was brilliant, but Wan-Bissaka, you can't ignore a performance like that. He was absolutely superb. So obviously a few positives. The third positive for me was the fact that for 65 minutes, I don't think United played very well. I think they moved the ball too slow. I think they overcomplicated things. I think a couple of players, which we'll talk about in a moment, really didn't get involved in a game as senior players they should have done. And then the last 20 minutes, Greenwood comes on. Look, that bit of skill by Chong. I thought Chong was, as well. I thought Chong was fantastic. For me, there was 4 candidates for man of the match: Mason Greenwood, Wan-Bissaka, Tahith Chong, and then I put Pogba in there because I thought Pogba did okay, but you could have put Pereira in there. But I think that Chong did really, really well as well. That cross was really good, and Greenwood hit it onto the bar. That would have been a brilliant goal. And that just shows you the brilliance of Mason Greenwood as well. But yeah, I thought that last 20 minutes when the players that came on, they played with freedom. And what they did do is they took Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics and followed them to the letter. They rotated the ball quick, and they moved quick. And Inter Milan went from a team that was very comfortable to a team that was on the ropes from all those substitutions. And it was a weaker team on paper, but that midfield of McTominay, Fred and Pereira, look, you won't finish in the top 4 with that midfield. That's not what I'm saying. But in that last 20 minutes, they did what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted to do. They got the ball and they moved it quickly. And then when they didn't have the ball, they were tenacious. When you compare that with the first half, Matic is too slow on the ball. Lingard doesn't get on the ball. So straight away, you've got Fred, who's quick and wants the ball and moves it quickly. And you've got Pereira, who wants the ball and gets on the ball and uses the ball. Lingard didn't get on the ball. Pereira did. Matic is too slow. Fred isn't. And instantly, we took hold of the midfield. I thought Pogba did quite well in the game when he was on, and I think McTominay did well. So there wasn't a massive change in those two players. But I think if Pogba had been playing with Pereira and Fred, we'd have seen a much better Pogba. Unfortunately, he got to play with invisible man Lingard and slow Matic. And that's Pogba's life at Manchester United, really. But when Fred, McTominay and Pereira came on, they were tenacious, they moved the ball quickly, and that then meant that people like Chong and Greenwood got a lot more ball than Martial, Rashford and James got. And that was the change in the game. Defensively, I didn't really notice much of a difference because Jones and Bailly and Young and Dalot didn't really have anything to do because the midfield took hold of the game. So that was encouraging, and I enjoyed that from Manchester United. What I didn't enjoy is that team was meant to be the reserves and the first team were not good enough. And especially in that midfield, Matic and Lingard just not good enough. And I don't understand what the problem is with Jesse Lingard. Obviously, in the summer, there was a lot of exposure for him. Obviously, that chat's been had. Come back, prove yourself, get your head down. Normally has a really good pre-season because he's naturally fit. He's been atrocious in every game in pre-season so far, Jesse Lingard. And I'm really surprised. And I don't know why that is. He looked tired. There was a point in the second half, in the first half, and the first half, where he lost the ball in the final third and sort of walked. And I'm like, he's normally running around a lot. So I don't know what's wrong with Jesse Lingard at the moment, but he's not doing much on the pitch. And he doesn't seem to have the energy levels that you would want. And Matic is just too slow. You know, there's no point in saying anything other than that. When Matic is on the pitch, second half against Leeds, first half today, we're not moving the ball quick enough from back to front. He goes off or not on the pitch in the first half against Leeds, lots of quick ball. He goes off in the game today, lots of quick ball. It's a contrast, but it's not rocket science, and Ollie needs to really take note of that. And if Inter Milan and AC Milan want Nemanja Matic, then maybe we should do that deal because he really does slow Manchester United down in a very, very big way. So look, I was very, very happy with that. I didn't want to see penalties and we did win the game. Everyone is putting their super chats in. I will read those in a moment. Young was actually good at left back today, says Purple Heart. He's a backup left back. I'm happy with that. Static Matic says Mana. Lingers did all right. Drove with the ball, says Marco. Antonio King. Totally disagree with you. I thought Lingard was absolutely rubbish in that game. And I think he was rubbish in every other game we've seen him so far. But if you're impressed with it, that's fine, Marco. It's your opinion. We have got to have faith in Ollie. But we need at least 2 or 3 signings, says CP44. That brings me on to my next point. I'm happy with that performance today. The last 20 minutes were good, but what pleased me the most was that performance for the first 60 minutes where we were slow, lethargic and didn't really create much because that's Ollie's first team. And I think that was a big, big lesson that we ain't finishing top 4 if we don't sign 2 or 3 players. You've got to bring Bruno Fernandes in. You've got to bring Harry Maguire in. And then we start to get to be a good team because we need a centre-back to play with Lindelof who's dominant and good in the air. And that would be Maguire. We need a midfielder to complement Paul Pogba. And that would be Bruno Fernandes. And I think we need another midfielder as well. But those 2 players are absolutely critical to our success next season. We have got to bring those 2 players in. It's not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fault. He wants those players. We know he wants those players. We know we as a fan base want those players. The board have got to deliver them. And if they don't, for all the optimism of that last 20 minutes, it will all go to rat shit. We will not finish in the top 4 if we don't make those 2 signings. We need a dominant in the air centre-back and we need another star player to play alongside Pogba. If Pogba's going to stay, which we all hope he is going to do, those are the transfers that Manchester United have got to go and do. Because if they don't, then we face problems next season, big problems. So yeah, that's what I feel about that. And I think, look, we need to see some movement. I'm Mainsy says, what is this negativity? We won and played high pressing football. Enjoy it. Look, mate, your opinion's totally simplistic And I don't even know why I read it, because you've not listened to the first 5 minutes where we're talking about the last 20 minutes, how good it was. Mason Greenwood's going to be world class. Wan-Bissaka was just absolutely superb. We've moved on from all that and we're talking about why it didn't work well for 60 minutes, mate. So if you're going to join in, maybe listen to the first 5 minutes instead of start saying people being negative. And also, mate, remove your head from your arse. Manchester United have got to make signings. I ain't going to paper the cracks over that. I'm not going to ice up the broken cake. We need to make signings. And if you don't think that, enjoy battling it out with Leicester and Watford, because that squad will not be good enough to get near top 4 without a couple more signings. And don't say it's being negative, and don't say it's being, hypocritical of a pre-season win. We all said this at the end of last season. That team last year is not good enough, and it's still the same team apart from Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka. Is that enough of an improvement with a couple of young players coming in to really seriously infiltrate the top 4? No, we need investment. And most important of all, we need investment because we are one of the richest clubs in the world on revenue. And we need investment and we need a rebuild. So we need to make these signings. And we shouldn't lose sight of that because of a great goal by Mason Greenwood in a meaningless pre-season game. He's going to be part of our future. Wan-Bissaka is going to be a top-class right-back. Daniel James, you know what? Daniel James today, I saw a lot of people being sort of critical of Daniel James. I think this is the issue with Daniel James. A lot of people think he's a first teamer for now. He's a 15 million signing from Swansea in the Championship. He's got great potential. He might be a future star for Manchester United. He might be a bench player. He might be a flop. That's the purpose of the signing. It's a risk. It's a challenge. Let's see what we can do. He's definitely got the desire. He's definitely got the talent. But he's rough around the edges, and we shouldn't put the pressure on him of being a first teamer straight away. I think Daniel James starts off the bench and works his way in and grows into the role. I don't think we need to start him every game. I don't think we need to expect him to go straight into the team and be brilliant. I saw people saying, he's never going to be good enough. He's not clinical enough. He's not. I don't expect that from him. He's an exciting signing, and if it works, we'll go, what a bargain. And I think it can work. We just need to be a little bit more patient with it. That's all I would say, and I think he'll be a good signing for Manchester United without concern. Genwell Balandra says that apparently Perez says no to Pogba, Feel and Bale to stay at Madrid. Right side needs work, even with new players coming in. It needs gelling. Pogba has to stay at Manchester United. I think we do. Alicia says, spot on, Mark. Daniel James is just a raw player. Exactly. We've bought a raw talent. I couldn't put it any better myself. We bought a raw talent. But in summary of that game then, Wan-Bissaka was my man of the match. Smash a like on the video if you agree. We'll do the player ratings now and then we'll take some of your comments. Mason Greenwood's going to be world class. I'll say it with a straight face. The boy, everybody at United's known about this for a few years. He is a stunning talent. He's one of the best talents we've probably had in 20 years coming through. He probably is. And all he's got to do is just get his head down, avoid injury, and he'll be fantastic. I thought the energy of that midfield that came on with McTominay, Pereira and Fred did what the first half midfield couldn't do. Lingard was invisible, Matic was too slow. And that's what got us the win. But overarching, we've got to make the signings. We need the signings. We are 2-3 players short of being a side that can really kick on and rebuild. And Ollie needs those signings. He lost Herrera. He needs a replacement. We've always needed a dominant centre-back. We've got to go and get Bruno Fernandes and Harry Maguire. Get those two players, and I think next season, with a bit of patience, we can build something. If we don't get those two players, I think we'll struggle next season. I think they are season-defining signings. Yeah, we've got a lot of positivity in that team, but he's got to go out and get those signings. And it's not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fault. It's the management at the club. If Man United don't buy more players, you're going to finish 8th, says Zayn Mayasi. Anup Aliapan says, what a high press game. Pogba is giving all. Matic is static. Need gone. James is good, but suits left more than the right. Sissoko is brilliant. Greenwood and Chong is blitz. Mata Lingard not looking good. Axel good. Need Fernandes to super up Pogba. I'd agree with that, Anup. And the Booknook fan, speaking of James, have you noticed that when he makes runs, he's barely getting fed the ball? I saw that with Wan-Bissaka as well, the Booknook fan. I saw that with Wan-Bissaka as well. He was making a lot of infiltrating runs down the right-hand side, and we weren't finding him. But that was the story of Manchester United's first team for an hour. The ball wasn't moved quick enough. the last 20 minutes, that every run everyone was making, we were finding the ball. We were finding them. So we didn't move the ball quick enough with Matic and Lingard in the midfield. When they went off, we moved the ball quicker. And Ollie will be aware of that. If he can't see that, then he shouldn't be manager of Manchester United. But he will see that because it's his tactics that were being followed in the last 20 minutes that weren't being followed in the first hour. With regards to player ratings, I'm only going to do it from the players that I can sort of remember that stood out. So De Gea I actually thought was bordering on a 5. I'd give him a 6, but he was bordering on a 5. He came for a few crosses and flapped at them and didn't really have anything else to do. Wan-Bissaka, you've got to give Wan-Bissaka an 8 or a 9. I thought he was absolutely flawless. I mean, I know it's only a pre-season game, but I would be tempted to give him a 9. I thought he was absolutely superb. Axel Tuanzebe a 7, Lindelof a 7, Luke Shaw a 7. I mean, Luke Shaw put a chance on a plate for Marcus Rashford and he missed it, didn't he? So yeah, defensively did well over the 60 minutes. I thought the defence did quite well. Into the midfield, Matic a 5, Pogba a 7, Lingard a 5. Martial a 5. Martial a 6. I think Martial did okay when he got the ball. Rashford probably a 6, maybe. Yeah, a 6. Daniel James a 6. And then from the people who came on in the second half, you've got to give Greenwood an 8. I'd give Chong an 8. Pereira, McTominay and Fred, I'd give them all 7s. Mata would give a 6. And the back four all get a 6 because they didn't really have a lot to do. So and Romero would get a 6 as well. McTominay's better than Matic. High floor, low ceiling, says Ian Hilgenduff. Zine Marcy, if Man United didn't, well, yeah, we've done that one. Pereira attacking midfielder, right midfielder. Lingard is better. He's better than Lingard and Chong and Gomez. We need Fernandes and a top class centre back, says Chris Delergy. I agree with that. Fernandes won't solve the problems. We need a CDM, says Lee Galdart. Yes, we do, but we don't seem to be linked to one, Lee. Maybe we go and get Sean Longstaff. Anoop Ayapan, we've done that. Smalling Maguire swap. Wonder why he didn't play, says Sankadeep 5. Well, that would be a good move. That would be a good move to do that. Or Phil Jones. Ray Chong looked great. Biggest concern, his size. Can see those skinny legs being injured most of the time. Lingard lacks the skill to play at fast pace. Zachary Purvis, Pereira, Fred, Chong and Greenwood showed their class. Matic, Lingard looked like shite. James is definitely going to be best used in the last 20-30 minutes. And I think that's the way to bed James in, really. Ishak Baig, Fred was quite decent today. We'll have a good season. Alex Marman, hi Mark, what about the performances of Tuanzebe? I thought Tuanzebe did okay, but he's not the centre-back that we need. We need a dominant centre-back with experience, and that would be Maguire. Thanks for the contribution, Milo Gonzalez. Mark Tancredi Palomares tweeted about Fernandes, says Black Boy. I'll go and have a read about that because he's hit and miss anyway. Scott Cook, we need Maguire. We really need a leader at the back. We do. No way Lukaku scores that Greenwood goal. It was brilliant, says Tekers. I think Matic is good. He's so composed on the ball, says Hassan Dan. You're going to get hate for that. Camilio 10 says, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, never seen defender in my life that unbeatable. I know. Smash a like on the video if he was your man of the match. I thought Greenwood was brilliant, but Wan-Bissaka was just flawless. Absolutely flawless, like you say. Stephen Hunt, Gomez, seriously worried he won't get the game time. I think Gomez may have to go on loan. He didn't get on, did he really? Sebastian Grubb Sorensen says Chong and Greenwood were taking Skriniar to the cleaners. Must have been frustrating getting destroyed by a couple of teenagers though. Yeah, pants down for Greenwood, says Adrian Costello Jr. Fred looks decent. Hopefully he can carry that now over, says Rocco the DJ. It was it was a good performance from Manchester United. It was another win. There were some real individual performances that were fantastic. We come out of it the way we came into it. We've got to make those signings. I think there are sprouts of positivity in that team. With people like Wan-Bissaka, with people like Chong, with people like Greenwood, with people like McTominay and Fred and Pereira. There are positivities in relation to the way the squad is evolving. But let's not kid ourselves. We've got to go and sign Bruno Fernandes and Harry Maguire. And you add those two talents to what we've got, and I think we've got a squad to build. So I'm positive, but it's now over to the board. Get them deals done. Get those deals over the line, and I think we've got something to build with. But if we don't do those deals and we stick with what we've got, or we only do one of those deals, like if we just bring Maguire in, I still think we'll struggle. If we just bring Bruno Fernandes in, I still think we'll struggle. You've got to bring both those players in, and then I think we've got a chance. But it's interesting what we do in the striking options as well, because I felt that maybe I don't know about you lot, but I felt that maybe Martial and Rashford. I think, look, let me be honest here. I love Anthony Martial. I love Anthony Martial. Greenwood over Rashi, says Mr. Aaron United. I'd agree. I love Anthony Martial. And I think Lingard's had a bad tour. I don't think Martial's been good on this tour either. And I thought Rashford has had a good tour, but today he just looked a little bit greedy. So do you sell Lukaku and go into the season with Rashford, Greenwood and Martial? Or do you keep Lukaku? Or do you sell Lukaku and buy in somebody else? It's going to be interesting. Anup Aliapan says Chelsea is losing to a Japanese team. Saw highlights. Coach looked clueless without Hazard. I think we will kill them. They're a slow, sluggish team with no one to finish. Well, we keep saying this. United have got 4th place to burn. It's their spot. 4th is there. Arsenal aren't a threat. Chelsea are weak. Let's get 4th and let's look like a team that wants to go higher than that as well. Zachary Purvis says Axel needs to be the number 3 centre-back with Maguire and Lindelof, McTominay and Fred behind Pogba and play him in Lingard's spot. Start Mason with Marcus as at the moment, says Zachary. But you know what? The reason we need Bruno Fernandes as well is to give us depth in the midfield. Like, if you get a bad injury to Pogba, we don't have good depth. So we need 2 midfielders, but ultimately you've got to replace Herrera. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. We got fans cans coming in very, very quickly from Singapore. Make sure you're watching those. Subscribe, get your notifications on. Positives to take away from that game, there's plenty. But we've got to get those transfers done. Speak to you all soon.